Hey guys, it's Rob Anderson with DollarMoves. I'd like to welcome you to our third Getting to Know live show. Today we have Sam Cohen, and the shows are basically my favorite entrepreneurs and online sellers who are doing great things that others should aspire to. I get to talk to them and kind of find out where they came from and what they've done to get to where they are now. Now, before I introduce my guest, I'd like to make sure that you guys can hear me and that you can see me. So if you can hear and see me, please go ahead and put in the comments that you can hear me, and my sister will let me know if we can hear, and that would be a good thing. Also, while you guys are letting her know that, if you could let your friends know on Facebook and other social media that we are live, that would be awesome. We'd love to have more people in here. And if you think the show is awesome and you'd like to see more of them in the future, I ask that you show your support by clicking the thumbs up or like button under the video now. We appreciate your support. So today's guest, as I said, is Sam Cohen. Sam is a trusted seller and mentor in the online selling community. He's been mentioned and featured in articles by The Wall Street Journal, NPR, Yahoo Finance, and other places as well. He spoke at many e-commerce events, and he did over $10 million in gross sales on Amazon in 2015. And I'm sure he's doing more than that this year. Now, he's also the creator and head mentor of the exclusive Amazon Consulting Experts, ACE, coaching and membership group that helps Amazon sellers grow their businesses. In a short time, his clients typically grow their revenue by 10 times, while others have seen growth of 100 times and more. And Sam, I'm honored to have you on the show today.
Oh, it's my pleasure to be here, Rob. You were the first one I watched when I tried to figure out how to sell on Amazon. I went on YouTube and I typed in how to sell on Amazon, and the only thing that was on YouTube at the time was DollarMoves. And I watched your videos over and over again because you seem to have figured it out before the rest of us. And every time I watched it, I learned something new from you. So it was pretty cool.
That is so awesome, and I'm so glad to have you here. I mean, that to me, it's like, it lets me know that all that work when I'm sitting in a room just talking to a camera, there's someone listening and doing stuff with it, man. And you've done so much. I can't wait to talk with you about everything you've done. I mean, you're an amazing guy. So the first part of the show, I just want to kind of talk about kind of where you came from. So first, why don't you go ahead and tell the people a little bit about yourself, who you are, where you live, and your family, hobbies, things like that, things that you might want to let people know about yourself.
Sure. So I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. There's a home of a lot of very successful people. I think Brooklyn gives you a certain amount of grit and guts and perseverance. Growing up in a place like that, it's a little bit tough, a little bit fast-paced, but it keeps you on your toes. I'm 43 years old. I live with my wife and two of my four children. I have four children. They're 22, 19, and then 3 and 2. So I have 2 in college and 2 in diapers.
Yeah.
My son and my daughter are both being potty trained now, so that's awesome.
Yeah, it's nice to get done with that.
And my oldest daughter is getting married on May 31st, so we're very excited about that.
Awesome. Congrats.
And my second daughter is also seeing someone. Hopefully they'll get married. And my kids are keeping me young and making me old all at the same time.
That's awesome. That's what it's all about, man.
Yeah, I got 2 kids asking for cars and credit cards, and 2 kids asking for formula and diapers, and it's a very interesting time in my life. We got about 15 full-time employees here, another 5 people in the Philippines. And then every summer, we have virtual assistants in the Philippines. And then every summer, we usually take about between 10 and 20 high school and college kids for summer internships.
Oh, wow.
So they help us and we help them. They all get paid. We don't do any unpaid internships because I don't believe anyone should work for free, no matter how young or old you are. Right. And it's very exciting to, we have a lot of people that ask to come work here for the summer, and they're like, I don't even want to get paid, I just want to come work for you. And I'm like, that is awesome, but I'm going to pay you anyway.
That's cool.
And, it's amazing to see the people ages, between 14 and I would say 21. They come here for summer internships, and some of them work in the warehouse, some of them work on computers, and some of them do side projects that I always have in my head that we're trying to develop. This past year has probably been the best year of our lives. We launched Amazon Consulting Experts,
Mm-hmm.
which was a dream of mine that I conceived of a year and a half ago. And we announced it in, I believe it was April or May of 2015, and we launched it July 1st of 2015. So it was just in time for the third quarter of 2015,
Mm-hmm.
and we were able to sign up 100 clients. I believe that we have about a 98% success rate, and we have clients that have gone from doing their first FBA shipment, and now they're doing 50 to 100,000 a month. And we have people that were doing 20, 30,000 a month, and now they're doing 300,000 a month. We also have one client who did about $30,000 in the 12 months preceding ACE, which is the acronym we use for Amazon Consulting Experts,
Mm-hmm.
and he's on pace to do $2 million this year on Amazon.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
that's been my passion project. I spend a lot more time with that than I do my own Amazon business now.
Right. I wondered
Because
about that when you first started. I was like, man, how does he find the time even beyond what he's already doing? So would
so
you say that's your hobby would be Ace kind of?
that's
Not like
my
a hobby like
passion
you don't.
project. I mean,
Right.
we're literally changing people's lives.
Absolutely.
And we have clients that send us testimonials and thank you videos, and we have one client, I guess I could say his name, Craig Maxwell.
Mm-hmm.
He's in Ohio, and he posted a video in our group of him and his wife telling his 6 kids that they're going to Disney World this year.
Oh, that was
And
yeah, that was huge.
he thanked me for that, and I was like,
Right.
I could watch it 100 times, and I'll cry every single time.
Yeah.
It's
Huge.
it's just amazing. We have people, they fly in. We have clients from all over the world, and they fly into New Jersey and they spend time with me and my staff. We do coaching calls, we do training videos, we get them discounts, and we really help them. The information that we share in our mastermind group is really information that you can monetize.
Right.
So it's not just how to create a shipment or how to print out something on a Dymo label printer. It's information that you can actually monetize. So
Right.
that's
Right.
really been it's really been incredible. That's really where I'm focusing most of my time in the Facebook group, and talking to clients, and we've helped clients take out loans and structure joint ventures, and go to banks for financing. We have accountants in the group, we have attorneys in the group, we have bankers in the group. We
Oh
have,
yeah. I mean, it's an
you know,
amazing group for sure.
yeah, and we have contributing experts like yourself and Chris Green and Andy Slamans and Jay Bain and a whole host of others. It's
Right.
really taken over, and we're blessed to have quality clients and a quality staff here. We kissed a lot of frogs before we found the right staff here, and we're
Uh,
constantly hiring new people and growing our businesses.
yeah,
So it's
that's
really been
awesome. So, hey, I want to talk more about you on this one, though. I know you
okay.
love Ace, and Ace is awesome, and I think you just about said everything about it, but we're still going to talk more about it
Sure,
later. But I
sure.
can tell it's your passion project for sure, and
Yeah.
I mean, it's amazing, and I want to talk about it too because I've been blessed to be able to see the stuff that's going on in the background, so it's
Yeah.
very, very cool. But I want to talk about the first time that you've ever made money in a job or on your own. Do you remember that? Like the first time when you did something in exchange for money and maybe how old you were?
Oh yeah, I was probably about 14 or 15 years old, and I worked. My uncles had stores on Fifth Avenue in Manhattan, and I was probably making 200-300 a week, and I was the happiest guy in the world because that was a ton of money to me back then, and I was able to buy my own stuff and do my own things, and it was just incredible to learn from the ground up. I was a stock boy in a retail store, so I learned from the ground up how to sweep the floors and restock the shelves, and that's really the best way to learn is from the ground up.
Oh yeah.
I,
And so you've been around retail then pretty much your whole life, right?
Yeah, so my dad had retail stores in Newark, New Jersey.
Hmm.
I used to go to work with him a lot. I don't remember if I got paid though, but my dad paid us in other ways.
Right,
Um,
food, and you got to
yeah,
sleep under a roof.
and toys. Don't forget the toys.
There
So
you go.
my dad had the typical retail stores. They were discount stores, so we sold everything from clothing to socks to shoes. Um, and then every fourth quarter, we would convert the stores into toys and electronics because that's what the customers wanted in Newark, New Jersey during Q4. So we used to sell Ataris and ColecoVisions and Commodore 64s and all the gaming systems,
Oh
Sega, and
yeah.
video games, and then we used to sell toys. And I was telling Chris Green this story when we were at Amazon headquarters. Um, my dad, there was a time where Cabbage Patch Kids were all the rage in the 80s.
Right.
And my dad called his supplier and they said, Elliot, we're not going to get any more till January. These things are impossible to get. We're not getting any more. So my dad opened up the cash register and took out a couple of $1,000 and took my mom and my sisters and myself, and we hit every Toys R Us in the tri-state area.
You guys
And
were
we
retail
bought,
arbiters beforehand,
yeah,
huh?
we were doing retail arbitrage. It had to be maybe it was 1983 maybe.
Yeah.
So it was like 33 years ago. And it
That's
was
awesome.
I was 10 years old. I remember it like it was yesterday. And we were able to buy Cabbage Patch Kids at $60 retail, I think it was. We paid the tax, and we brought them to Newark, and we sold them for $200.
Oh, I remember the craze. I mean, my mom had to get one, and we drove. I mean, Dad drove all across the state just to find this certain Cabbage Patch doll.
Wow.
Everyone had to have it back then, man. That
Yeah, it
and
was
Thriller
amazing.
albums, right? And Alf dolls. So
Tickle
how
me
long?
Elmo.
Yeah, there you
Yeah.
go. How long have you been selling online for now?
So I've been selling online on and off for about 20 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I used to be very successful with eBay
Okay.
back in the day, and then digital cameras came out. So that's probably, if I had to guess, 15 years ago. And we were selling tons of digital cameras on eBay. And then something happened with eBay where they suspended my account for something, a minor infraction. I'll never forget this. I had just bought a house,
Oh
and
gosh.
I had 6 figures worth of inventory, and eBay suspended me in the beginning of December one year. I'm trying to remember the year.
Oh,
And
jeez.
I said, I can't be at the mercy of these guys and this issue. It was something where a digital camera was supposed to come. It had an optional accessory, and we had copied and pasted the description from Olympus's website, and it said that it came with a floppy disk adapter, and then in parentheses it said optional. And
Oh, okay.
eBay interpreted that as us misrepresenting the product and suspended us over it. And I'm like, you
Oh
got to be
God.
kidding me. And we were literally doing a couple of $100,000 a month in sales. And I'm like, my feedback is 100%.
That was 15 years ago?
Yeah, I'd have to
Wow.
look up the year. It had to be, well, it had to be before 9/11.
Did
So it's
you
probably a little bit longer.
did you have your own website at that time too, or were you just eBay only?
So back in the late 90s, we had computer stores that I managed in New York City, and we had full-page ads in the New York Times, which probably cost us $35,000 a week.
Wow.
We had gorgeous stores with high rents on Park Avenue and Third Avenue, right by the United Nations. And I was managing stores for a couple of guys that were very wealthy and very successful. And they looked at me one day and they're like, Sam, where's all the customers? And I'm like, well, Dell just started selling directly, and Toshiba had started selling directly, and IBM had started selling directly, and eBay was coming up, and everybody was buying on the internet. And we
Right.
looked at it, and this was probably 1996 to 1998 where we started to see the shift.
Sure. Yeah, that's
And
perfect time to get in.
And I actually went to work for somebody who was one of the first guys selling on the internet. Um, his name is Albert Palacci. He actually owns 888 Lots now.
Oh, okay.
Um, and I worked for Al, and he was younger than me, so it was a little bit of an interesting dynamic. And then,
Right.
and then I went back to my old bosses, and I said, hey, why don't we go partners? I know what's going on now, and we could figure out how to sell things online. And we launched a website called shop4digital.com. So it was shop, the number 4, and then digital.com, because digital was like the buzzword back then.
Uh-huh.
And we started doing tons of business. We made deals with AOL. We made deals with MySimon. We made deals with CNET. And then there was a bunch of random price comparison engines like Price Grabber and Price Scan. And it was find the lowest price on the internet.
Right.
So they were aggregators of everybody's price. And if somebody clicked through to your website, you pay them pay per click.
Uh-huh.
And that worked for a while, and we had negotiated some great deals where we can pay them $3,000 a month for unlimited clicks. And then they changed their business model where they wanted to charge us 50 cents or $1 per click.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't matter if the customer ended up buying from you or not, you were paying for that click.
Oh, really? Okay.
So the business model shifted on us, and it became not feasible to sell via that business model anymore. And then we started doing Google and some other things later on, and then we were spending so much money on advertising, and the margins are very small on laptops and electronics and Palm Pilots that we used to sell, and Apple products and Sony products that the business model didn't work anymore.
It sounds like you really have been in electronics, like selling electronics most of your life then, huh?
I've sold pretty much everything there is to sell.
At all.
I've sold commercial real estate, so I've sold buildings in Manhattan and Brooklyn. I've sold commercial mortgages. I've sold in flea markets. I've sold, DVDs for $1 in flea markets. That's how I got started in this business.
Okay, so was that your own? Would you say that was how you got into doing your own type of business? Was that the first thing you did, was like flea markets, or how did you first get into business on your own without like someone else involved?
So I was working for a big electronics manufacturer called Haier, H-A-I-E-R. They're a big manufacturer. They had offices in Manhattan. I was running the B2C, business to consumer e-commerce for them. And then we got word from the Chinese parent company that anybody who was making 6 figures was either going to get a dramatic pay cut or was going to be let go. This was back in 2008, 2009. For the next couple of years, I made money, but it was a struggle. I was doing flea markets. I was asking friends to give me goods on consignment, and I was really struggling to find my way. I was doing some wholesale deals, buying from manufacturers, selling to retailers, but there was no steady, consistent business.
And people were scared back then. I remember everybody was scared to spend their money in that time.
I mean, when Wall Street crashed and everything crashed, the whole economy crashed, I couldn't get a job for $50,000, let alone what I was making before the crash.
Right.
And so I was nervous. I was hustling. I had child support and alimony, and I started dating my wife at the time, and she was the daughter of a dentist, so she had never worried about money in her life until she met me. And we were going to flea markets. I had a friend of mine who was selling into retail DVDs, doing programs with Walgreens and some of the other big retailers, and he was giving me all his rejects and returns. And there were a lot of public domain DVDs that wouldn't even sell for $5 at retail. And he was giving them to me, and I wasn't sure what I was going to do with them, but I started selling them in the flea markets for $1. And my wife would go with me, and we'd sell a few hundred on a Sunday just to, pay some bills. And my friend told me, "Don't worry, I know you're good for it. You'll pay me back when you're on your feet again." And when I went to pay him back, he wouldn't take the money. He's like, just pay it
Oh,
forward.
wow.
So
Awesome.
I've been helping people for free for years. Obviously, it was consuming a lot of my time, and it was consuming most of my time. And we came up with this idea for Amazon Consulting Experts, and that's how that was born last year. You know, and I had been helping people on Facebook and people that
Oh,
were
yeah.
struggling for years. So naturally, when we announced this program, it was very easy to get people to sign up.
Oh yeah, I
Um,
mean, like I said, I know you're trusted. You're a trusted expert that people know. You know your stuff, and it's really what's amazing about that is that not many people that are selling the level you're selling are going to take the time to help out. From a newbie to whoever, and you've done that ever since I've seen you from the beginning. You've done that. It's always been amazing. So would you say that would have been your biggest struggle, would have been during those times and trying
oh
to
yeah,
get the flea market? That would be that.
oh
And
yeah.
how important do you think the struggle is to your story? Like, did you learn a lot from your
Oh, it's
struggles?
huge. It's huge. I mean, I was being threatened with getting thrown in jail if I couldn't pay my child support. So,
Right.
I trust me. I know what it is to be at rock bottom. I lost my dad very young. I was 19. He was 49.
Oh, sorry to hear
Uh,
that.
Lost him to cancer, and then about 10 years later, I lost my younger brother. Um, so I've been through a lot in my life, highs and lows.
Hmm.
You can't cherish the highs without experiencing the lows.
Yeah, but it sucks when you're in the lows. But I
Oh, it
definitely
sucks.
understand,
It
man.
sucks.
That
Believe me, I've
contrast.
been there.
Yeah.
But life is a struggle. It's not all it's not all roses, and you have to be able to persevere, and you have to be able to get up and stand up and fight the fight and show up and do your part. And a lot of it is up to God, and I'm a big believer in God, and I don't know if I was such a big believer when I was struggling, but it's
he
it's
showed up, huh?
yeah. A lot of life is a mental challenge. A lot of
Oh,
life is
absolutely.
is more psychological than physical. And I came to work and I watched your videos, and I came to work at 5 in the morning, and I worked till 10 at night. I probably slept 6 hours a night.
Right.
And there were days where I couldn't figure out how to print labels or do other basic things.
Isn't
And
that funny?
it took me 6 months how to figure out how to do an FBA shipment.
Yeah.
And we went from doing merchant fulfilled DVDs only, where we're selling 25,000 a month in gross sales,
Wow.
and we had aligned ourselves with a company called Monsoon Commerce, which you don't hear too much about these days. But 5 years ago, they were an important player in third-party software.
Hmm.
And there was a guy there, Mike Maloney, and he kept telling me, "Hey Sam, you got to do Amazon FBA," and I didn't know what FBA was.
Hmm.
And he kept telling me, "You got to do it, you got to do it." And for 6 months, I tried to figure out how to do FBA, and then I just kept making merchant fulfilled sales, so I really didn't put all my resources to it. But
Sure.
once I flipped the switch, I started in March of 2011. Once I flipped the switch to Amazon FBA in October of 2011, my sales went from 25,000 a month to 100,000 a month overnight. Now we
Right.
were going into Q4, and I was selling DVDs, and I had access to all these DVDs, and there wasn't a million guys selling DVDs,
Right.
5 years ago. And we were selling Warner Brothers and Sony and Universal and Paramount and 20th Century Fox, and it was so easy. We were buying DVDs for $2 and selling them for $10, and Amazon was taking about $4 in fees, and we
Oh,
were
wow.
tripling our money. We were turning two into six all day, every day.
Right.
And my wife kept telling me, "Why don't we save some money for a rainy day?" And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? We're buying stuff for two and selling it for 10. You know, if we run out of money, I'll sell a kidney if I have to." I was backing up the truck, and we had gotten some wedding gifts, and I took every penny and I put it into the DVDs, and her
Oh yeah.
parents had helped us out, when we got started, because they knew I was a good guy. I just didn't have a lot of money, and my
It's funny to say now, isn't it? Times have changed.
It's funny. I had a long talk with my in-laws when I asked for my wife's hand in marriage, and they said, "Listen, she doesn't need to be wealthy. She just needs to know that her bills are going to get paid every month."
Right.
I said, "I think I could do that," and that's how she is, my wife. She doesn't need anything materialistic, and she just doesn't want to. She wants to have that peace of mind that the rent or the mortgage is going to get paid every month, and that's, thank God I've been able to do that the last 5 years.
Yeah, and I mean, every picture I see, you guys look so happy together and got wonderful looking kids. I mean, I haven't got to meet them yet, but they look just like super happy and fun. So
thank you.
Yeah,
We're blessed. We're blessed. We're really
Absolutely.
blessed.
My next question is, were you scared to start your own business? But it was kind of, I think, out of necessity for you, wasn't it? It was like either just kind of, I mean, what was your other option, right, at that point?
So I was scared out of my mind, but I think I was 38 years old, and I had always made money, but I had never been wildly successful. And I kind of went from job to job to job because nothing held my interest. And I had worked for a lot of people who promised me one thing and then didn't follow through.
Sure.
And that was disappointing. I'd worked for an apparel manufacturer, and I had got them on to Gilt and Rue La La and Ideally and Sue Lily and Beyond the Rack and all the flash sale websites. And I had generated $1 million in business for them in 6 months. And I was owed about $40,000 in commission. And when it came time to settle up, the owner of the company says to me, "How about we settle for $8,000?" And I'm like, "But you owe me this money."
Right.
And the guy was filthy rich. It was just the way he did business. And I was just, I said, my wish is to never work for one of these guys again. And I was really struggling. And getting back to how I got started, I attempted to take, so my friend was helping me with these DVDs, feeding me DVDs. Some of them were selling in the flea market, some of them weren't. And it got to the point where I had, tons and tons of DVDs. And he says I was helping him because I was getting rid of stuff that didn't sell for him. So I decided to have a little guts, and I took 1,000 DVDs and I put them on eBay. And I attempted to sell them as a wholesale lot for $1,000. So it was still $1 a piece, but you know what? It was $1,000 in one shot.
Right.
Instead of selling one at a time. And then I got a little creative, and I took a lot of the DVDs out of my own DVD collection.
Your lot sold for $1,000 then?
No. So listen. So
okay.
I got a little creative, and I took all my DVDs that I had bought at some crazy point in my life, and I put them into the 1,000-piece lot. So I had the Beatles anthology, I had Twilight Zone, I had Top Gun, I had Rain Man, I had Sleepless in Seattle, and I had movies that people actually want to own.
Okay, sure, right.
And I put them in that mix, and I put it on eBay, and I get a message from eBay, and I'm sure we've all sold on eBay, and the customers are different than the Amazon customers.
Sure.
There's a lot more questions. There's a lot more back and forth. And I have nothing but good things to say about eBay. But I had a buyer who asked me how many of the 1,000 units are the better titles and how many are the junkier titles.
Right.
And when I told him that it's about a 900 to 100 ratio, bad versus good, or name brand versus not name brand, he says to me, well, then the other 900 are worthless to me. So I said, well, what do you do with these? And, are you selling them individually on eBay? Are you selling them in the flea market? And that's all I knew. It was either eBay or flea market of how to dispose of inventory. And he tells me, no, I have 3 kids working for me. I pay them $8 an hour each. And we sell about 1,000 DVDs a month on Amazon. And
I gave it up, huh?
I went, well, I don't know what he was thinking,
Right.
but I guess he was
I'll
just
keep
sharing
these.
that. And the next thing you know, I'm on Google saying, how do I sell on Amazon? And
Right.
Rob Anderson pops up on YouTube.
That is awesome,
And
man.
the rest is history because I must have typed that phrase into Google 1,000 times hoping to get different results because I became a sponge for information. And I
Sure.
literally was watching videos till my eyes were bleeding. And Amazon didn't have Seller University, and there was so little information about how to sell on Amazon
Right.
in February and March of 2011 that, like I said, I watched your videos over and over again, hoping to pick up different tips each time I watched it, and I did.
That's
And it
awesome, man.
still took me 6 months to figure out how to print an FBA label.
Right. Well, I tell that story like that's why I made the how to tape a box. I
Right,
mean, we work in the RV industry where I've drove around $2 million coaches, no problem because I grew up around them, right? But
right.
to tape a box to make it to Amazon, I'm totally scared that thing like how. So I made this video and it's one of my best ones. Those little things where it's just like I don't know. I was so scared to make my first mess up on my
I've
first
seen it.
FBA shipment.
I've
You
seen
know?
it.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, I wanted to ask you, when you first started, how did the people around you, your friends and family, act about your decision to start your own business? I would kind of think it sounds like a lot of your friends and family were sort of entrepreneurial, huh?
yeah, so I grew up in the Syrian Jewish community, which is known to be very entrepreneurial. I mean, some of the people that I grew up with are the founders of, Century 21,
Oh, wow.
DoorDash, a lot of big companies, iHome. So I grew up around that entrepreneurial spirit. My dad was a retailer, my grandpa was a retailer. My grandpa used to sell rugs on the boardwalk in Atlantic City.
Oh,
So
awesome.
we're a culture of merchants, so to speak.
Right.
And basically, what we're doing now on Amazon is the same thing over the internet. You know, so I've always been blessed with being street smart. I'd like to think. Um, and I was always I went to college, but it didn't really hold my interest. I got into a lot of trouble in school because I was always bored.
Right.
Um, and I skipped a grade in school because they thought I was smart when I was 4 or 5 years old. So I was like a year and a half younger than all my friends, which proved to be a challenge when you were getting into fights and wrestling and doing all
Right.
this other stuff. Riding bikes and getting driver's license. So I always had a little bit of an edge to me. And I think that's helped me in business because, when I started my Amazon business, I was scared out of my mind, but
Right.
I was also kind of fearless. I was like, all right, I'm at rock bottom. I really
What do you
don't
got to
have a whole
lose?
lot to lose.
Right.
There
So you
weren't
didn't
people.
have that fight back from family or friends. You didn't have that because a lot of people, I see that in society it seems like if you tell people, "Hey, I got a job," they're like, "Hey, buddy, right on." And
You're
if you
right.
say, "I started a business," they're like, "Oh, like poor guy." You know what I
So
mean?
So I had been up, I had been down in my life, and I really was never someone to listen to what other people had to say, for better or for worse, if you ask my mom. Um, but I had relatives tell me, "Why don't you go drive a car?" This is before Uber and everything, but why don't you go drive people to airports and make some money? And I have very wealthy relatives, and they would tell me, "Oh, when I was your age and I couldn't get a job, I would sweep the floors and clean toilets and this and that." And now they're very wealthy in real estate and other things. Um, and I think people were kind of like tough on me because I had never really stayed at one place for too long,
Uh-huh.
and they kind of felt I was like not a vagabond, but like going from I was never settled. I speak to people. I have a client who retired and is doing Amazon now, and he worked for DuPont for 37 years.
Oh,
I can't,
wow.
I can't imagine doing anything for 37 years.
Right.
You
Right. I
know,
think that your story is more like the entrepreneurial story where it's like try a little bit of everything till you figure out what you want to do.
and yeah, I've spoken to people who know Jeff Bezos. Not to compare myself to him because I
Uh,
can't hold a candle to him. But he
you're getting
kind of
there,
has
buddy.
the same mentality. Throw
Right.
everything against the wall, see what sticks, and follow the money.
Right.
If I made a list of all of Amazon's failures, it's mind-boggling what they did with the auctions and what they did. How many businesses they failed at. And you look at them now, and the world revolves around Amazon right now. I mean,
Yeah, where
you know,
no one
re-
knew about them in '99 or whatever when
right,
they came around,
right.
and it's like if you would have said, "Oh, well, think about how what was it, Borders and all them used to be like, oh, Amazon, oh, who's gonna buy books online? See you later, Borders." You know what I mean?
I'll
So,
tell you. Yeah,
go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No, go ahead.
I'll tell you a funny story about Borders now that you mentioned it.
Uh-huh.
My first deal that I made when I started this Amazon business was not an Amazon deal, but this friend of mine had hooked me up with one of his DVD suppliers, and I'm eternally grateful. And it just to show you how life comes full circle. This DVD supplier is massive, okay, and he was nice enough to sell to me because I was a peon and I wasn't a threat to him.
Right.
And I have an uncle whose brother is very successful, and he had a meeting with I think it was Hilco, which is the big liquidator that handled the Borders liquidation a few years ago. And he had
Mhm.
them in his office, and somehow I managed to get some stuffed animals into his hands. Um, and he presented it to the buyers that were running the Borders liquidation. And he showed them they were made by a company called Gund, Gund. They
Uh-huh.
make very expensive plush stuffed animals. I ended up doing business with them later. Anyway, my DVD supplier had about 20,000 of these Gund stuffed animals that came with a DVD. Now, he
Oh,
was in the DVD business, so he separated the stuffed animals and the DVDs and sold the DVDs. So now he had 20,000 worthless DVD stuffed animals in his warehouse.
you
And I
said, I'll
told him,
take those worthless animals.
I said, I'll take them all. And I negotiated them down to 10 cents a piece. And he was
Wow.
thankful to get that because it was clearing space in his warehouse.
Right.
And I had my cousin presented it to the buyer of the Borders liquidation. And he told him these are $10 stuffed animals, and we'll give them to you for $2.50 each. And the guy took all of them.
Wow.
So I made a
25.
$50,000 sale with $48,000 profit. Now
Wow.
I had to split it with my uncle, but that's really what gave me the money to put into my Amazon business.
Yeah, that's huge. So do you do a lot of that? That's sort of that liquidation mentality where it's like you don't marry anything and it's just like turning that money, just getting through it quick as possible. You kind of have that mentality with a lot of your products?
Absolutely, and
Yeah.
we sell anything. The question I get asked most is, "What do you sell on Amazon?" And my answer is always the same: anything we can make money on.
Right, right.
And
Same
we've
here.
we've sold everything. We've sold everything from shoes to socks to underwear to shirts to hats, gloves, scarves, DVDs, toys, sexual wellness products, baby products, home products, pet products, automotive products, industrial products. I mean, there's probably
Just
nothing we
everything.
haven't sold on Amazon. The only things we don't sell are like knives or guns,
Uh-huh.
just because I don't want to be in that business. And we phased out sexual wellness just because I have so many religious people working for me and family members working for me.
Right. Gets a
It's
little
not a
odd, I'm
business I need
sure.
to be in.
Right.
But we'll look. We're approved in every single category. We get our clients approved in every single category. This way, when an opportunity comes up, you don't pass on it because you can't sell that.
Right. That's
Um,
huge.
and that's the first thing we do with our clients is we get them approved for whether it's shoes and clothing or sexual wellness or industrial or automotive or health and personal care or grocery or automotive or industrial or frozen products. By
Like
frozen I
Star
mean the
Wars.
movie,
Yeah.
not the cold stuff. And Star Wars Episode 7, and it's just you.
Right. No, I've seen it over and over again where people will be like, "Oh, I'm not approved in that or whatever," and you're like, "Let's get you done. Let's get you taken care of right
Right.
now." It's amazing. One last thing about getting started. What advice would you give to those people who might be on the fence right now about getting started on their own business?
So I may get sued by Nike, but just do it. I
There
mean,
you go.
everybody in this business suffers by analysis paralysis, and they're always worried they're going to make a mistake, and they never start. And I see people that can't get out of their own way,
Right.
and maybe it was a blessing in disguise that I was in desperation mode, and I've spoken to a couple of my clients about this as well. Craig Maxwell will tell the story. He had 5 kids and another one on the way, and he lost his job, and he had no choice but to do this. And I was kind of in the same boat.
Right.
It wasn't a part-time thing for me. It wasn't a maybe this will work for me, maybe this won't
Has
work
to.
for me. It had to work.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and we're blessed that it did work. And I know people don't like to mix God and business, but I thank God every day for our blessings. And it's just been a phenomenal ride, and we're so blessed that we want to share it with our clients. And it really means more to me to change someone's life than to make an extra few $100,000 or whatever the number is, or do a few more million in sales. It really, at some point it just becomes a scoreboard. It doesn't really affect your quality of life or standard of living.
Right.
You know,
I've
and
heard
it's
it
just,
called like freedom points at that point. It's just kind of like, you know what I mean? It's just freedom points.
you
But
know,
yeah, that's awesome. And yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying this. If you're enjoying what's going on, Sam is giving out so much great information. I'm just hanging on to every word. So I totally appreciate you being here. Everybody hit that thumbs up button if you enjoy what you're hearing, and share some love. We really appreciate it. So I want to get into the second part here. We're kind of going a little long, but I want to talk about where you are now. We've sort of gone over some of that as well, but like, what does your business look like now?
yeah. And the funny thing, just to your last point, is I used to hang on your every word, and that's what helped me get to where I am today. So that's
Well,
pretty
I'm so
cool.
glad, and dude, you've helped me so much. I mean, you said the thing full circle earlier, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Amen, brother. Here we are." You know what
Yep.
I
Yep.
mean? I mean,
Yep.
it's so cool.
So, I jump out of bed. I'm sure people see me on Facebook every day. I jump out of bed. Maybe it's 2, maybe it's 3, maybe it's 4, maybe it's 5 o'clock in the morning.
Uh-huh.
And my kids are sleeping a little bit later than they used to, so that gives me an opportunity to work before I spend time with my wife and kids in the morning. And I'm always on Facebook posting and reading and researching and, checking sales and checking, our metrics and feedback and buyer messages and ACE clients. And so where are we going forward? Where business is booming, thank God. We're getting out between 20 and 50 pallets a week to
What's the
Amazon.
size of your warehouse right now, and employees and everything?
So right now we have about 15,000 square feet of warehouse with about 600 pallet positions, pallet racks. Everything
Wow.
is somewhat organized, computerized. We have, say, about 15 to 20 full-time employees between here and the Philippines. Then we have another 5 to 10 that are on an as-needed basis. We have buyers, we have bookkeepers, we have people who handle computers and logistics. We have people that obviously do the warehouse work. So we have a nice range. We have people that do retail arbitrage. We have people that do online arbitrage. We have people that do wholesale. We have people that do closeouts and liquidations, and we have people that help us with the private label.
What would you
Um,
say your percentage of each of those is for your business? Someone asked, "Is retail arbitrage dead?" And I know that a lot of the right. I know that a lot of the articles that you've actually been in have been about you doing retail arbitrage with some of these going and spending crazy amounts of money and filling the backs of huge trucks. Um,
so we've done some pretty big retail arbitrage deals, like that deal in Walmart in Baltimore. We've done some other deals. as well. And we're focusing on doing things that the other 2 million or whatever the number is third-party sellers are not doing. So we're buying much higher ticket items. We're buying clothing and shoes. We're buying oversized toys. We're buying tools. We're buying things that need to be palletized. We have the forklifts and the warehouse and the loading docks and the people that have the warehouse experience, and we're shipping oversized things into Amazon. And most people either won't do it or can't do it. Right. Either they don't have the finances or the guts to spend $200 on an item and hope to sell it for $400 or $500, or they don't have the capital, or they don't have the wherewithal, or they don't have the logistics experience, or the pallet, wrapping and forklifts and trucks and loading docks and LTL freight and all the other things that we do.
So if it's harder, you like it.
Yeah, so we try to avoid the low-hanging fruit. Anybody who does retail arbitrage has gone to Toys R Us clearance or Walmart clearance or Target clearance, and you'll find that those items tend to get saturated in price, and there's downward price pressure a lot faster than some of the things that us and our clients do. Right. And we're doing, we pretty much know every trick in the book, as far as dealing with managers and discount gift cards and friends and family deals and, all the other things that we have going on. And we have, proprietary software that helps us. And we have people that are, experts at what they do in pretty much every component of this business. Whether it be retail or online arbitrage or wholesale or liquidation or private label or software, App Eagle or Scam Power or Inventory Lab or Jungle Scout or, any of the other million tools that we use. And then we have logistics experts, we have warehouse experts. So we really have, we have an unbelievable bookkeeper, we have accountants, we have attorneys. So we're a real company now. We're not just, a guy in his basement selling on Amazon and eBay. So
right. What would you say your percentage of, say, retail ARB to online ARB to wholesale liquidation do you have, or is it just an ever-flowing kind of thing?
So right now it's probably 25% retail, 25% online, 25% wholesale, 25% liquidation. Okay. We're moving into private label with a particular product that we launched. I don't think I have one here because I'm not very good at this. Actually, I do. It's called Theragold, and we're going to be launching it on Amazon shortly. And basically, it's a pain-relieving rub that we developed an exclusive formula for. We've been working on this for quite a while now. I actually bought a competitive product on Amazon about 2 years ago, and I said, there's no reason we can't make something similar and do it better. And lo and behold, it took us about 2 years to get everything aligned properly.
That's awesome, though.
It's made with Manuka honey, and it's got all these anti-inflammatory ingredients. So it's pretty cool. And then, we're constantly reevaluating. Retail, each one of the sourcing methods that we do has their pros and cons. So sure. Retail arbitrage is something we can buy, bring back to the warehouse, or you can bring it back to your house, ship it into Amazon, and have it go live, within 24 to 48 hours. Whereas, something like wholesale is a much longer sales cycle, much longer process. You have to get a list, and then you have to evaluate the list, and you have to put in an order, and then they have to tell you of what you ordered, what they have in stock, and then you have to arrange payment and schedule freight. And before you know it, it might be a month later before you get the goods into Amazon. So while wholesale has lower margins than retail arbitrage, we just did an order with a company that makes flip-flops, and we bought 5,000 flip-flops from the manufacturer, and we sent them into Amazon, and they're selling like crazy. Oh, yeah. We were able to buy 5,000 flip-flops on one PO, one That's purchase nice. Order. So it's obviously a lot more scalable than retail arbitrage, and it's a lot less labor-intensive. We don't have to take off stickers and, polybag things and this and that. So each sourcing method that we do has their pros and cons. Same thing with online arbitrage. You know, I have someone who sits by a computer all day, every day, buying inventory. But till the goods get here, and then they come in damaged, and then there's
Right.
by the time they get here and get to Amazon, the prices drop, or they send the wrong item, and then we have to hassle with the returns, and you know,
So it's nice to have a little bit of everything so that it just
right,
keeps flowing.
right. And then there's closeouts and liquidations, which if you don't know what you're doing, you can get slaughtered.
Right.
You know, we bought deals and we've sold deals to our clients, and you know, something that we paid $60 for is now selling on Amazon for $60, and I'm like, what's going on here?
That's sickening.
You know, we were told this is discontinued, and then we realized that, you know, when something gets discontinued, the price drops on it before it rebounds. So you might buy something for $60 and then see it on Amazon for $60, and then you circle back 3 months later and it's selling for $150 because nobody has it anymore.
Right, which is great when you get to that point.
Which is great, but you know, for people who aren't experienced in this, they're like freaking out. Like, what do I do?
Right.
You know, I need the money back, and then they sell it at a loss or at break even, and then you repeat that process. So everything has its own pros and cons. You know, retail arbitrage is only as scalable as the people you have going to stores.
Right.
You know,
and product available.
Product availability and quantity. We have 2 guys that go to stores. One guy works 6 days a week. One guy works 5 days a week. They each spend between $3,000 and $5,000 a day. So we got one guy spending 15, 25 grand a week, and we got the other guy spending, 18 to 30 grand a week at retail arbitrage.
Wow, just on that stuff. That's
just
awesome.
on that stuff. Then we have 2 guys doing online arbitrage, and we have guys doing wholesale. You know, where our orders can be $50,000 to $100,000 on a wholesale order. So there's a lot of things going on here.
So we're getting close to the end of this hour. I definitely want you to be able to talk more about ACE. I know we talked a lot about it before. We didn't get to talk a lot well, we've talked quite a bit about where you are now. What do you think that you are slated to make this year, to do this year? Because I know you did 10. Was it last year that you did 10 million, or was it the year before? Last year,
2015.
Okay. And do you know what you're slated for now, or is it just kind of up in the air? Or?
So we have 2 Amazon accounts with permission from Jeff, as long as we play by the rules. Right. And between the 2 accounts, we're probably going to be doing between 15 and 20 million in gross sales, with probably half of that coming in Q4. I would say 30 to 50% of it will be in Q4.
Really?
So, yeah, that's what we're finding. You know, if we did 5 million in the first 9 months last year, we did 5 million in the last 3 months last year. And we're constantly evolving as a company, where we used to do mostly toys and DVDs. Now we're doing mostly clothing and shoes. We've doubled our average selling price, and we've cut the units that we have to process in half.
Right.
So it's pretty cool.
That's why I love shoes, man.
Yeah, we're the information that we've collected over the last year and the data. You know, we have 1 million sales as a reference point of what's going on in that field right now. And we're constantly looking at and managing big data and making decisions based on, large data. Rather than looking at a small sample size, we're able to see what's working, what's not working, and we're able to adapt accordingly. We're still small enough and nimble enough where we don't have our heads in the clouds and we can't see what's going on in front of us, yet we're big enough to take care of the economies of, leverage the economies of scale by doing LTL freight. And, if we do inbound freight on shoes, it's probably costing us less than 20 cents, where if you're doing UPS ground, it's probably costing you between 50 cents and $1. Yeah. So
and that changes your margins right there. Just I was listening to Dan talk about that too, and Greg Murphy, and Dan and Eric, how it's just like you do the LTL and it just goes boom, and it changes the whole scenario.
Amazing.
Okay, I need to ask you 2 more questions. First one, what gives you the most juice in your life right now?
other than my wife and kids, it's got to be ACE, Amazon Consulting Experts. It really does. It's
Yeah.
yeah, I live it, I breathe it, I own it. That's my baby. That's my passion project. For those of you that don't know, we launched a business called AmazonConsultingExperts.com. We abbreviate it to ACE so that we don't run into any issues with using the name Amazon. And we've actually gotten called by Amazon to help launch new sellers with our consulting business. We have a lot of people that are brand new to Amazon that are clients of ours, and we have people that do several $1,000,000 in sales a year on Amazon. So we run the full gamut of newbies doing their first FBA shipment to guys that are doing probably $5 million this year in sales, and everything in between. We have clients in Singapore. We have clients in all over the world, California, obviously, and all over the world we have clients, and we have clients that fly in and they spend a couple of days or a couple of weeks with us, and we train them. We do coaching calls with me and my staff. We do training videos. We record everything we do so they have access to it later on, and we really help you become an expert, whether it's I can rattle it off fast because that's how my mind works. Retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, wholesale, closeout liquidation, private label, Scan Power, App Eagle, Inventory Lab, Jungle Scout, OA X-Ray, tactical arbitrage, logistics, Seller Engine Plus, processing and buy lists and logistics in the warehouse and getting the goods out quicker, and inventory turns and cash flow management and legal issues and tax issues and accounting issues and pretty much anything. It's all stranded inventory and suppressed inventory, returns, refunds, reimbursements, reconciliations, pretty much anything that would be part of an Amazon business or even an e-commerce business for that matter. We work with Shopify. We have website developers. And pretty much it's all encompassing. If you want to make money selling online, we can help you. We've decided to keep the membership fee. It's $5,000 for the year, and I would challenge you to find someone who hasn't gotten at least $50,000 added to their bottom line in the first year out of the first 100 clients. Mm-hmm. Every single one of them has made at least 10 times their investment, and some of them have made a lot more. Like I said, we had a client who had access to certain manufacturers but really didn't know how to do Amazon. He was a retailer, and he did $30,000 on Amazon in a year, and he's on pace to do $2 million this year with very healthy profit margins. We had people that were doing $20,000, $30,000 a month. Some of you, I'll mention his name, Auguste Perwanto. In Q4 he did almost $1 million, and now he's tracking at about $200,000 a month. And he listened to what we told him to do. We told him you're an unbelievable sourcer. Stop prepping your goods. Get someone for $10 an hour to prep your goods. Mm-hmm. And he listened. Within 24 hours he had that. We told him stop doing all your back-end stuff, and we trained a virtual assistant to do it for him. The returns, refunds, reimbursements, shipment reconciliation, suppressed inventory, stranded inventory, all the other fun stuff that nobody wants to do. He pays somebody $80 a week to do it for him now. It's $4,000 a year. And he's busy doing what he's good at, which is sourcing, which is what's making him the money. We had guys, Craig Maxwell, I mentioned, David Cohen. We have a guy, Christos Georgiakis. He's going to do probably $5 million this year.
Okay. I've seen so many of these people growing. Yeah, I've seen so many of these people grow and grow and grow all year long. And another thing I would like to point out that you really haven't, because you're a humble guy, but how many multi-million-dollar sellers? Like you said, you're looking to do 15 to 20 million this year. How many of those kind of Amazon sellers can you get direct coaching from anywhere? I don't know of anyone. And you are in the thick of things. When I see stuff going on in the Facebook group, like as things are happening, these guys are like, okay, what's going on? Tactical, boom, what are we doing about it? And then, hey,
Right.
everybody, and it's like, come on, guys, here we go. You know what I
Right,
mean? So
right.
it's awesome to see.
And I gave this probably about 6 months of thought before I decided to launch it, and I figured out all the pros and the cons and all the haters that were going to come and all the positive things that were going to come, and we really decided that we're going to limit the amount of people that we work with so that we can give them hands-on, custom tailored coaching to each individual's needs. And we have people that don't know how to create a shipment, and we have people that are doing millions of dollars and need more sources for inventory or need more better processes so that they can be more efficient with their time or be more practical with their sourcing money, to deploy their sourcing money. And we really tried to get quality people as clients. And if I told anyone who my clients are, they're in awe of the quality of the people that we have as clients. And we really handpicked who we wanted to work with. We didn't just say, okay, you want to pay us, we'll take your money. Because we really wanted people who are going to take action, who are going to monetize the information that we gave them, who are going to, grab life and be successful. We didn't want, their failure is our failure. Their success is our success. And going into year 2, it's going to be much easier to sign people up for ACE because we established credibility. We were told we can't be a seller and do consulting at the same time. Nobody's ever done it successfully. We did it successfully. We were told that you can't do both. We're doing both. We were told that you're not going to be able to get people to take action. We've gotten people to take action and grow their businesses by leaps and bounds.
And you had 100 this year, right? 100.
We had 100 people. We plowed most of that money back into coaching and training and software and discounts.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things people don't even know about, like the store and the software and there's so much stuff that's, I mean, it's just so much. And like Sam said, he's always thinking of things, and like things are always happening in the background, always. Why don't you tell people, how does someone go about getting into it? I mean, is it an interview process, or how would somebody, if they were interested in, doing 10 times to 100 times what they're doing now and want to get into ACE, how would they do that?
So basically, go to our website, AmazonConsultingExperts.com. You can call our office. The phone number is on the website, 732-695-6355. I'm always available to speak. My staff is always available to speak. We can give you references of the 100 clients that we had in the first year. You can hear firsthand how it's going for them in the first 10 months. Or is it 11 months now? And you could really see results, and we tell people it won't work if you don't work, so if you're willing to put in the work, it's funny, we just had that, our first conference here in New Jersey, and we had about 300 people there that flew in from all over for this. And right next door, there was a communion going on in the country club that we rented out. And they were playing loud music, and it was a little bit distracting to some of the speakers. And we had somebody who was at the communion who saw our signs in the hallway, and he said, you know what? This is something I have to do. I'm a pharmaceutical sales rep, and I hate what I do, and I'm limited in how much I can make. And he just joined ACE.
Nice.
He just happened to be there that day, and he spoke to clients of ours, and he's like, listen, dude, I'm all in. Tell me what I need to do. He came to our office yesterday, spent the day. He went out sourcing with Uncle Jackie, and we just blew his mind with what we showed him in one day. We have clients that tell us, hey, in the first month that I've spent with you, I've made 10 times return on investment. We've had people that, we gave them one tip of something that we do,
Right. That's all
And
it takes sometimes.
we had one client, he was spending 200 grand a year in TJ Maxx and Marshalls, and he had a bad experience with gift cards, buying discounted gift cards that ended up having a zero balance. And we told him, you buy it through us, and we'll make sure you have 100 days of protection if the balance is not accurate. And we're getting them discount gift cards. We buy them in bulk so we get better rates
Right.
than the public does. We're buying discount gift cards at about 25% for TJ Maxx and Marshalls. And he said, just on that one item alone, 25% of 200,000 is $50,000 that I'm going to make extra this year,
Right.
just from
Right.
that one little thing. And there's
Crazy.
so many
It's
things that we
so
do.
much.
We set up a prep center where we're prepping our clients' products, only open to our clients for $1 a unit. We're probably losing money on that, but that's okay because our clients are making money. We just opened a retail store in a very upscale shopping center called Cobblestone Village here in New Jersey on the Jersey Shore. Where we live and work is kind of like the Hamptons of New Jersey. It's a very wealthy, affluent area. So we're calling all these manufacturers like Michael Kors and some other big companies, and we're opening accounts with these companies because we have a brick and mortar upscale boutique, and we're able to negotiate deals where we're also able to sell the products on Amazon, and it's opened up a whole new world of wholesale suppliers to us and our clients. We took 100 people and we let them buy into this for $1,200 a year, which is $100 a month, to be able to
Right.
say you're a partial owner of a brick and mortar retail store in New Jersey. And we're opening up accounts that we can never open if we were just selling on Amazon.
Right.
And that the opportunities are infinite. I mean, we have a full-time staff that's literally calling thousands of companies opening wholesale accounts. It just started, and you can place one wholesale order with a company that won't sell to Amazon only sellers, and you can make back all your money 10 times over. We're
Right.
also doing custom software development. I just hired someone today who's going to be an in-house custom software developer, and we're going to develop tons of tools for Amazon third-party sellers that are either as good as or better than what's currently on the market. We're going to give it to our clients that participate in this for free. And then anyone who invests in this project will be able to participate in the profit sharing when we sell it to all the other 2 million third-party Amazon sellers later down the road once it's fully
And
developed.
that's just the stuff you're doing now. And this stuff became something that happened. And the way Sam thinks, stuff is always coming up, and he's sharing it out there with the people that are members and that are doing this, and he's really giving back. So if you guys are interested, definitely go to the website and check it out. Sam, thank you so much for coming on to the show.
It's my pleasure, Rob.
I so appreciate it, man. And I mean, it's just my honor to have you here. And thank you so much, for bringing up my name at different times and stuff. I'm glad that the YouTube channel is there for you.
I mean, it's really amazing. If I go back 5 years, I have tears in my eyes of how much of a struggle it was to get started. And there was no Chris Green yet, and there was no other information out there about how to sell on Amazon, and it really helped me get to where I am today, and we're blessed, and I thank you, and I thank God, and my wife and my children, which are my why about why I do things.
Right, absolutely. Well, thank you, my friend, and you have given to me so much, and to watch you give to everyone else is just it's a blessing for sure, man. We're definitely blessed, and thank you very much. Now, are there any last words or anything that you'd like to add before I do the housekeeping and we get off of here today?
I just want to say, something that I've seen from speaking to hundreds of sellers a week and thousands of sellers a month and, tens of thousands of sellers a year. Don't be so afraid to fail that you give yourself no chance to succeed. It's okay to take
Perfect.
risks. It's okay to take calculated risks. Make the best decisions with the best intentions, with the best information you have in front of you at that particular time. Don't be your own worst enemy. Don't be afraid to make so afraid to make a decision and be so indecisive that you give yourself no chance to succeed. There's very few things that you can do that will get you suspended for life from Amazon. Now, we had about 15 clients that got suspended in the last year for one reason or another. With the help of Nate McAllister, we've gotten every single one of them reinstated.
Awesome. He's good.
Unless you do something egregious like counterfeit goods or stolen goods or running multiple accounts without permission from Amazon, it's a very, they're suspending more people these days, but they're also reinstating a lot more people than they used to. So don't ever be afraid to do something within the Amazon rules in terms of service. Don't be afraid to take a chance. Don't be afraid to buy an item. Don't be afraid to try something you've never tried before. A year ago, we started selling shoes, and in the past year, we've sold over 30,000 pairs of shoes for over $2 million.
Wow.
Just to put that in perspective, a year ago today, I don't think we had sold one pair of shoes. So,
Go big or go home.
don't be afraid to try new categories. Don't be afraid to try new things. I was selling, getting back to what I said originally, we had that guy tell me he was selling 1,000 DVDs a month. We're selling 1,000 DVDs a day on Amazon today. When everybody tells me DVDs are dead and there's Netflix and Hulu and Vudu and Redbox and Amazon Prime and DVD sales are dead, everything is streaming, we're still selling 1,000 DVDs a day, not a week, not a month, not a year, a day on Amazon. We're still selling all 7 Harry Potter DVDs, widescreen, full screen, collector's edition, special edition. This stuff sells on Amazon. You don't have to have the latest and the greatest movies or whatever you're selling, toys or things sell. There's a market for everything on Amazon. If somebody wants to buy a Harry Potter movie, they can't walk into Best Buy. They can't walk into Suncoast or FYE or whoever's left that's still selling DVDs at retail. It's not so easy. Same thing with toys, same thing with shoes, same thing with anything else. You have to sell things that there's a demand for, and there might be a shortage of supply. It might be discontinued. You want to sell limited edition items. You want to sell collector's edition. You want to sell exclusive items. You want to sell discontinued, out of production items, not expired items, but you get what I'm saying. You want to sell things that not everybody else is selling or can sell or will sell. When you're selling all these things, it's less likely that Amazon's going to be on the listing. When you're selling all these things, it's less likely that there's going to be 700 sellers on the listing. We knew from September of last year that the game Pie Face was going to be in short supply. We have a direct relationship with Hasbro. We deal with about 7 different Hasbro distributors. They all told us they didn't make enough. And I went on to Facebook and I told people in different groups, you got to stop buying Pie Face. And everyone said, no, you're an idiot. There's end caps of them at every Walmart, every Target, every Toys R Us. There's no shortage. And as we got closer to Q4 in October and November and December, the Pie Faces that we were buying, me and my clients sold collectively over 20,000 Pie Faces. Wow. We were buying them for between $10 and $15. Yep. We were selling them for between $40 and $70.
I listened.
and it was just amazing because everyone was telling me, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. And I was like, maybe I'm wrong. And I said, no, And my client said, maybe he's wrong. And, different things like that came up. We just found out that Rockport, the brand of shoes, was sold by Reebok and Adidas to New Balance. So now at some point, Reebok Adidas is no longer going to be able to sell shoes under the license of Rockport. Us and our clients probably bought 50,000 pairs of Rockport shoes for between $10 and $20 that are selling on Amazon for between $80 and $300.
Yeah. And that's
So,
just one of the tips. I mean, there's so many little things like that,
you
and
know,
they happen all the time.
we had a client who we told them about a particular jockey item that was available at TJ Maxx and Marshalls. He hit 20 of them and made over $100,000 just on that one tip. You know, and there's so many different things that you could, you know, when I flew to Amazon headquarters with Chris Green, you know, I said to Chris, I don't know, I'm leaving my wife, I'm leaving my kids, I'm leaving my businesses, plus I got to pay for the flight and the hotel and $1,000. And people were private messaging me, oh, Chris Green's on a money grab right here. I'm like, are you kidding? You get to go to Amazon headquarters for 2 full days and it costs you $1,000? Are you kidding me? And I looked at Chris within the first hour of being there, and I said that 1 hour that we spent with, you know, the people from seller support and the people from the category managers of Amazon, you know, it dwarfed any expense or any loss of business, or it dwarfed anything that it cost us to go there. And we got the value within the first hour. And it's the same thing with us. You know, the knowledge that we share with you, not to be arrogant, but, you know, the knowledge that we share with you can so easily be turned into more money to your bottom line, not your top line, but your bottom line, money that you put into your pocket, you know, that it pays for itself in the blink of an eye. It really does. And not to beat a dead horse, but, you know, like I said, anybody who's stuck with us, you know, has made tremendous sums of money, and we've literally changed people's businesses and changed people's lives. And me, you know, I'm a big fan of Chris Green. I'm a big fan of Tony Robbins. I'm a big fan of anybody who preaches the abundance mentality.
Right.
I believe in it. I live it. I breathe it. I own it. And you know, people said, "Oh, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You're gonna hurt your own Amazon business." Our business doubled last year. With us sharing all of our trade secrets. You know, I have no complaints, you know, about sharing information and sharing things that people think are going to hurt us. You know, I don't believe in that. I don't aspire to that. And, you know, it's not real. Right. So, you know, we have people that, you know, called me Bernie Madoff last year when I announced ACE. You know, they said, "Oh, this guy's he's in it for the money, and he's going to scam people and this and that." You know, speak to people who actually take action in this world and see what their results are and see what their experiences are, and they'll be glad to talk to you. I have clients all day, every day, say, if you want any references, you give them my cell phone number, and I'll let them know what I got and didn't get out of ACE. You know, I'll let them know what the truth is, you know. And there's no better testimonial than people that are actually living life and not commenting from the sidelines.
Right, for sure.
So that's
the big takeaway is don't live in fear and go forward with action and live in abundance, huh?
Absolutely. And don't listen to other people. Trust your own instincts. Trust your own intuition. Trust your own judgment. Trust your own, you know, sense of what's real and what's not real. You know, if I would have listened to people that told me DVDs are dead 5 years ago, I'd still be broke. I wouldn't have helped anyone else succeed, which to me is worth more than money. So, you know, think about it. Who buys shoes online?
Dude, that's what I thought before I started selling them. I'm like, I like to try my shoes on.
You want to make sure
I know exactly which ones I'm getting.
Right. And you look at a company like Zappos, which got consumed by Amazon, and they built their whole business model on selling shoes online and being customer-centric. And, you know, similar to Amazon, you know, being all about the customer. Don't worry about your competition. Worry about your customer.
Yep.
You know, I don't look at, I have clients that tell me, oh, this guy's a penny cheaper than me. I said, stop sweating the small stuff and focus on the big picture. Do your job, do your due diligence, make good decisions with good information and good intentions, and be in this for the long run. Don't
Right.
try to make quick hits and ripping off customers and doing things you shouldn't be doing. Don't try to take shortcuts and beat the system. Your Amazon account is worth 7 figures. Not 5, not 6, but 7. And maybe even 8 or 9 or 10. Don't jeopardize your Amazon account by doing stupid things.
You see, guys, this is the kind of person you want to listen to. I mean, he has nothing in it for you on that. It's all like he's just helping you. And he's like, don't mess up this thing that could be 7 or 8 figures for you. If you want to learn from someone who is doing the deal, this is the, I mean, just listen. Go back, rewind this thing, listen from the beginning. I mean, Sam's the real deal. So I totally appreciate you for, I know you're busy. I know before you got on here, we just got on a few minutes before, and I appreciate you. You stuck
No, it's
around
my
for an hour
pleasure.
and 20
It's
minutes.
my pleasure.
And
Are
I
you?
mean, I know you guys got a ton of great info here, and please do comment below and share the love. Sam is a great guy, and thank you again, my friend. I
And
truly appreciate it.
I'm available in all the Facebook groups, Scan Power, Scanner Monkey, Amazon Consulting Experts, and about 100 other ones that I'm part of. I'm happy to answer any questions to the best of my ability. I'm available, private message, email, phone call, whatever you want. I try to make myself available 24/7. Within reason, I'll help people for free. I've done that, my whole life, and I'm happy to help people succeed. And my hope is that one day, when we're all sitting on our rocking chairs watching the grass grow, you know, people remember me and say, "Hey, that guy helped me become more successful in business or in life," and
Right
that's
on.
my dream. And
Yeah.
I know I have a handful of people like yourself, uh, and I'll have those memories of. So
Yeah. And that's what I want in life too, man. And you definitely, I definitely feel where you're coming from, my friend, and I'm so glad that you're a part of my life, and I totally appreciate you coming on here because I know you're a busy guy. If you guys are interested, and tell them the website one more time so that they know where to go to.
it's AmazonConsultingExperts.com. We also have a Facebook group that's open to the public by the same name, Amazon Consulting Experts. And then if you become a client, we have an ACE Mastermind group where we share much more actionable information, specific details about what we're doing. We show you exactly what we're buying and where we're buying it, and a million other secrets that are too many to enumerate here. I just want to leave you with this one thing. Align yourself with positive people. Align yourself with people that are generous and giving and sharing of their knowledge and their time. People like Chris Green, Andy Slamans, Jay Bain, Rob Anderson, and a million other people that I'm happy to align myself with. There's two different schools of thought for people that help people. Some of us get bashed as gurus, and we're ruining it for the rest of the world. And then there's other people that say, "Hey, this guy really wants to help me," And I think if you practice the latter rather than the former, you'll be a lot more successful in life, not only in business but in life. I can talk for hours. I heard a crazy story at a charity event that I went to last night. My niece was being honored, and I'll just tell it very quickly because I know you have to wrap this up. There was a lady who was driving a $100,000 Mercedes, and her car broke down. She had a flat tire, and she didn't know how to change the tire. And a guy was driving by, and he noticed this, and he says, "Oh, I'll gladly change that for you." And he got under the car, and he jacked up the car, and he changed the tire for her, and she offered him $50 as a thank you, and he refused the money. He says, "No, it's my pleasure to help you." And later that night, she went to order Chinese food, and she saw a waitress, I'll make it fast, who was 9 months pregnant, and she was working a 12-hour shift, and she was 9 months pregnant, and she had gotten friendly with the waitress, and the waitress basically said, you know, my husband doesn't make enough money, and, you know, I have to work. So the woman took $500, put it in an envelope, and said, this is for all the times you've helped me, you know, this is for you and your family. And the waitress goes home to her husband, and the husband, you can see he's a little depressed that he can't pay his bills this month and everything, and he's thinking maybe he should have taken the $50 from the lady earlier in the day, but he really wanted to help her. And the woman goes to her husband, she goes, you won't believe what somebody gave me today. She shows him the envelope with $500, and it turns out the waitress and the mechanic were married. So here he was, and it was pretty cool.
Yeah, that's way cool. I agree with the abundance mentality, man. It multiplies. And please don't feel bad that you've been on here. I could talk to you all day long on here, my friend. And I appreciate it, and I know everyone appreciates you sharing. I mean, if people are taking notes, I mean, it's just amazing the stuff that you've shared here. I know a lot of it to us is everyday things, but you've shared so much great information. So thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate it.
My pleasure, Rob.
So I want to do a little bit of quick housekeeping here, guys. I hope you liked the show. If you did, take a moment, please, to hit the the thumbs up button down below. I'd love to hear any positive takeaways or things you loved about today's show in the comment section under the video. If you got here late or were unable to see the whole live show, the link will take you to the replay. The links are set up like this: DollarMoves.com/getting to know, and then the guest's first name and last name. So the link to today's show is DollarMoves.com/getting to know Sam Cohen. You can see all the past Getting to Know live show playbacks on the YouTube playlist at DollarMoves.com/getting to know. And this is show number 3. So thank you again, Sam, for coming on. It has been an honor to have you here, my friend. I know you're a busy guy, and you've gone above and beyond here. So thank you very much. I truly appreciate it.
My pleasure, Rob.
And thank you, everybody, for showing up. We sure appreciate having you.
Thank you for having me.
Take care. Bye-bye.